Hey friends, Sunwarper here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to break down how I put together a beat using Koala Sampler for sample chops and sound design, and then moving those samples into the SP for sequencing and additional instrument tracking with guitar and bass. So the main sample that I use is from Serato's Discord, and if you've watched this video, you know they make some really cool samples from some great sound designers. This one came from Bap Notes, and I'll put a link to the Discord in the description. Here's the original sample. So there's a lot more to that sample, but the first maybe 4 bars or something is where I got the bulk of what I used for the sample. So what I did was I took the sample, I took just a certain segment of it, and over in Koala, if you have the Samurai update, you can go to Tools and split stems. So I split the stems and it made what it calls vocals, drums, bass, and other, but it's this other that I used for the main sample. So what I did was I then auto chopped, which is also a Samurai upgrade, auto chop. I split it into, I think 8, and I just maneuvered the samples around a little bit, and it got this. You can tell I pitched that down. So from those chops, I pitched a lot of them down, and some of them I also time stretched to fit 100 BPM. So from there, I made a couple samples. So the main sample that I used, I took a few of them. And you can see this one's time stretched, but this one is not, it's just reversed. So from there, what I did, I MIDI sequenced it out, and then I went to perform and I held hold. I put a little bit crush, a little dirty, a little compressor, and some vibro flange. And that gives you. So then all I did was I made the sample, I hit resample loop, and it created this. So that's the main sample that I used. From there, rather than exporting the loop into the SP, I actually recorded it directly in performing it. Using just this sequence that I made, I put on some 404 vinyl. So then I would hit record, and I set it by hitting shift, count in, I set it to wait. So until audio starts playing from the iPad, it doesn't start recording. So from there, I just started the sequence, and I made sure that I had this set so that I could do some noise modulation or automation. So recorded it in. So the reason I like having the noise set to 0 when I record is rather than just being a noisy addition, it adds some flavor and texture to the sound. So that's my more subtle vinyl sim technique. So then the other thing that I did was I separated the drums for the A and B parts, and I recorded those in also directly in rather than sending the loop. I don't know why I did it specifically for this song. I just really wanted to send the specific parts through the SP's recording to have some of that grit from cassette and compressor, which I didn't talk about, but when I recorded these in, I did have cassette and compressor on bus 3 and 4. The compressor was a little different than this. I had the attack about 50 in the ratio to 2. And then I also had on bus 3, it was about this. I had some wow and flutter and some drive. So it distorted it even more than the vibro flange and the dirt in the performance here had. For the drums, I recorded these in with those on, but then they're also getting a second dose when I perform the full track. But all I did was the same technique as this. I just played these parts through. So moving on to the guitar and bass parts. For the guitar, I just did on the input effects, I had guitar sim, I used the BG with some drive, and then bus 3 and 4 I had as reverb and 303. For the bass, I did nothing on the bus 3 and 4, and rather than an amp sim, I used warm saturator to really emphasize the low end and add some distortion. So I had the bass and drum set to bus 2, And most of the time, bus 2 had 303 with some compression and some wow and flutter. So that sounded like this. And then bus 1, I was switching between DJ, and I also used some of that awesome 2.0 update cloud delay. I also, for bus 2, would use isolator as a mute. So the way it works is it allows for some dropouts. It's just a way to add some movement to loops. And then bus 3 had a cassette sim with some age, some drive, and some wow and flutter. I originally had more drive, but it was really dirtying up the sound a little too much, so I toned that back. And then bus 4 was just compressor with the basically stock settings. So that's a quick run through of how I put the beat together. As much as I love sound design on the SP, it is really cool to have the portability of the iPad or the iPhone with Koala or any sampler that's an app on your phone. Like, I began this beat on my phone, did all the chops, then moved it to my iPad and used the iPad to send stuff into the SP. It's just so convenient to do that anywhere. You don't even have to take this. It's completely portable, can fit in your pocket. That's all I've got for today. If you like these kind of videos, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I post new videos every Tuesday. And if you want to check out more about this beat, generative artwork that I've been creating, and just general production updates from me, you can head to my new blog and website, sunwarper.com. Everything's there. I've got all my music if you want to help support the channel. Merch will be up there soon. Yeah, I appreciate you hanging out, and until next week, thanks for watching.